Good afternoon to everyone in the land of Zoom, and welcome to the Board of Health virtual meeting on Thursday, June 16th, scheduled for 4 p.m. My name is Thomas Corey. Present with me via Zoom is Michael Coughlin, Dr. Stephen Gagliardi, and Tess Curran, our agent of the board. We are not in the City Council hearing chambers. All are participating remotely. Tess, can we have a roll call? Oh, wait a minute. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived by those present, and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Now can we have the roll call?
Thomas Corey,
Present?
Michael Coughlin,
Here.
Stephen Gagliardi.
Here.
Okay, the next item is the approval of the minutes of the meeting from Thursday, May 19th. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to be made to the minutes of the meeting as printed?
Move to approve the minutes. Second.
Tess, can we have a roll call?
Thomas Corey,
Yes?
Michael Coughlin,
Yes.
Stephen Gagliardi.
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a hearing request for the City of Fall River Treasurer to revoke a food establishment license. At the request of the city, we would like to postpone this to the next meeting. Are there any objections?
No. No. What?
Okay.
Can we get some background on that?
I'd rather not at this time. You got the documents that I received. I'm uncomfortable unless we're going to go through with the hearing.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay, next we have the request for a variance to open the pool located at Royal Crest Estates, 37 Courtney Street in Fall River. Matt Sussman is here representing Royal Crest Estates. Lisa, are you presenting on this one?
I am.
Okay, if you would, please.
Okay. I'm going by my last year's pool inspection. Now, their main drain, okay, for the Virginia Graham Baker Act, from what I was told last year, has not been working for 10 years. And they told me that last year at the inspection. So I advised them, I told them that they were not to open their pool this season until their main drain was fixed. But now they want to open it for this summer. And that's why she sent the variance through. She just wanted to see if they could open possibly just for this season, and then they were going to fix it.
Okay, on the documents that we received, on the inspection report, the last line 34, it says pool must be closed until it meets the standards of the regulation, and that's dated June 10th, 21. So was that pool open last year?
I'm sorry, this is Loretta Collins. Matt Sussman is an associate of mine. Yes, the pool was open last year. The main office, we are with the corporate office. We were unaware of the status of the situation. We did have a permit to open last year, and we did open. As far as us knowing that we had the issue, we were not informed of the issue. Once I was notified, we immediately hired an engineer and a company that could address this situation. And unfortunately, I wasn't made aware until 2 months ago. I've had a very difficult time finding an engineer that would take on the job, in the sense of it's a very small job and everyone's extremely busy. But I have found someone. He's working on it. I've got the company and I can give you the proposal. And we are ready to go. He's going to take 2 weeks to engineer it. And then we're going to have to submit permits. And they're telling me, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they're telling me it's going to probably take about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on any changes for the permit. And then it's going to take about anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks to actually do the repair. And all I'm asking is if we're allowed to open the pool, which it's not open now. It meets all your standards as water qualifications. And I just want to open it for our residents for 3 months, and then we're going to close it, and then we're going to start the work because we should have the permit. We should have everything we need to get started and do the work. Our residents have with COVID and everything happening, things just got very mixed up with us, apparently, with communication, with changing staff members. Our maintenance, don't get me wrong, our maintenance man has been there for a very long time, but our managers have changed and the situation's changed. So that's what I'm asking. Our residents haven't been able to socialize in quite a
what he's saying, but I have the date here, 6/2/21.
Well, I know it takes, if you don't
I haven't done
call
anything.
somebody in the winter, you're not getting anybody for a pool. You're lucky you got someone to come this year. If you just called a little while ago, so.
Yeah, it was very difficult. I'm paying up seriously to get this guy to help us. So the only time they can actually do the work is like September, towards the end of September is when we can start getting to work. And I'm hoping if I get the engineering, I can have the permits by then and we can start the work in September.
And how big is the pool?
I honestly don't know the actual size of that.
Well,
It's a large pool, but it's not deep. It's 5 feet all the way across.
5 feet.
65.
And there's skimmers and everything else work. It's just the main drain that's not working.
That's correct. We circulate the pool through the skimmers. We vacuum through the skimmers. Yeah, so everything, we've got 2 pumps on it. Both pumps are functioning. We have an automatic chemical feeder. And we also have, of course, an employee that's certified and he does his checks every day.
I think that's probably okay with a stipulation that if it's not done, you're not opening next year.
I agree with that and I appreciate that. I have no problem complying with it.
Lisa, do you have any?
Lisa, any precedents of pools operating, without the main drain working? Has this ever happened before?
No, it has. Well, I did have another pool. It's now called South Winds. At one time it was Rolling Green. They did the same thing. They did not tell me. And when they did, they fixed it right away. The pool was closed and they fixed it right away.
So they never operated it. They never operated it in the manner that we're being asked to allow for this pool at Royal Crest. They never ran the pool at South Wind without the drain work.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, yeah. Okay. After you found out about it, they
Right.
closed it.
But as soon as I found out, they closed down the pool. and
Right.
they
I got
fixed
you.
it
I
right-
got you. They were running it for a while,
Right.
but we never
And this is-
knowingly allowed anybody else to do this before.
Right. Yeah,
That's-
I mean, if
that's
they
what
don't
I'm
tell me, I have no way of knowing. It's.
Oh, I
they-
understand. But
Yeah.
we've never approved a variance like this before.
Right. And this inspection report, Mr. Corey, is dated 6/2/2021. That's when I did the last inspection there. They have not been inspected yet this year. So I
Mhm.
haven't done an inspection yet either. They're gonna have to have an inspection. I know the main drain's down, but I need to check everything else beside. So. You were questioning the
Yeah.
date earlier and that's, so I was there last June. And it would be done like for this June, if they okay that today. I would go back and do the inspection today and, with the exception of the main drain, I mean. And,
I would love to say that I could do the main drain that quickly. I just can't because of the engineering. Unbeknownst to any of us, I think the drain was actually filled in at some point. So we're actually having to put an entirely new drain system into the pool.
yeah, it's been down. for quite
The
some
company
time.
the company that owned it before us filled the pool. They lowered, it was apparently a deeper pool and they plastered a new pool inside of it, which covered up the main drain. So I'm literally having to create a drain. I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this because we're just not informed about everything and I have no problem doing it. But the pool has functioned and passed all of the inspections up to this point.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
again, you did not know. Yeah, you did not know the main drain wasn't there. I mean,
I
you
did
could-
not,
you
they
can't
did not
see-
tell me.
Well, yeah, you can't tell. You can't tell when you do an inspection for sure. But as far as our chemicals and stuff, we've always been balanced.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't open until they are, so.
If I may suggest, my name is Glenn Hathaway. I'm the building commissioner, City of Fall River.
Yes, sir.
If I could suggest or request, whatever the decision is of this board and however they make it, that part of the decision or the eventual portion of this, that we get certification from a certified pool company that all the elements of this pool are functioning correctly, such as not only the drain, but the filters and everything else as part of a recertification, because the pool has been there for some time, and obviously, I'm not blaming the current people that are there managing this complex now, but the past people have not been forthright and upfront with us. And if that's the case, how are we to tell what else is wrong here? So I'm asking that perhaps maybe the board, as part of their decision, whichever way they go, would be to get a certified pool company to come in and test all obstacles, all objects of the pool, all mechanisms, and make sure everything is up to current code.
Well, I think with this scope of work, I mean, this isn't, Aaron Pools in or some fly-by-night kind of operation that has to do this. It sounds like a major project. So you're gonna get a big pool company coming in doing the work. I don't think this is like a plumber
No,
coming
it's
in.
not.
So I
Yeah,
think
you're right.
whoever does this work is gonna be able to, certify the work done.
Plus, everything's going to be permitted. So we have to get permits for all of the digging and the engineering that's going to be done for the drain system. So y'all are going to be doing inspections.
But they're responsible just for the main drain.
No, ma'am, they would actually have to make it, the pool company that's actually doing the work has to have everything functioning. They can't sign off until everything's properly functioning. Nor would you be able to text my chemicals now if my pumps and things weren't working, as you know. If my other systems weren't working, I would never balance. And that's, you do see and check all that all the time when you come, I would assume. So none of that could be working. If that wasn't working properly, you would never get a good test off of us. And I to this point, I don't know if I was told, don't know everything I believe anymore, but I was told we've never gotten a bad inspection from you until last year. But I have no problem anybody testing our pumps and everything right now, whatever you'd like to have checked. I have no issues. I can get it certified from the gentleman who's going to be doing the actual construction on the pool as far as checking the pumps and stuff now, if you'd like.
Okay, and anything else? We have a motion to approve it for this year only, pending the reconstruction and installation of the drain.
Motion to approve.
Well, are we also adding Glenn's request that the pool company come in, or Glenn, are you requesting that for the future? Are you comfortable with the variance as it was just stated? Glenn and
I'm
Lisa?
comfortable with the variance if that's what the board is comfortable with. However, I just want to make sure that once this is up and completed, that that everything else is completed in a
Okay.
timely manner
All right.
and properly, because I understand that the pumps have to run in the chemicals and so on and so forth. I understand that issue, but I just like to make sure that the city side of things that we are not capable of inspecting are completed or repaired or fixed and
Right.
completely operational before.
But you're comfortable with that being for next year? You're
Yes, sir.
This 3
Yes,
months,
sir.
that was essentially what I'm trying to get at.
Yes,
So this 3 month variance, this variance is for this summer season, pending Lisa going there and at least doing that annual inspection minus the drain, right? You'll do that first.
Mhm.
Do we need to put that into the motion, or the variance wouldn't apply until after you do that inspection under any circumstance?
Yes, Lisa.
Yes,
So, tell 'em. So providing that the inspection passes through Lisa, and the board will be satisfied and continue with the
All right, so
variance.
So Dr. Gagliardi, why don't you, do you mind a friendly amendment to your motion that we approve the variance pending Lisa's inspection?
Sounds good. Motion to approve that.
Second,
Second, can we have a roll call?
Thomas Corey,
Yes?
Michael Coughlin,
yes.
Stephen Gagliardi.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good luck with the reconstruction.
Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
Okay, next we have the request for tattooing establishment for Samara Souza at Samara Souza Beauty, 274 South Main Street, Fall River. I take it this young lady is Samara Souza? And Lisa, you're reporting?
yes, I am. Okay. I have Samara Souza here. She is applying for well, it's actually a tattoo practitioner and tattoo establishment.
Yeah, I think we have to do the establishment first and then the
Okay.
practitioner. That's, yes.
Okay. Okay, so she has been working on her building for quite some time before, she's of course not licensed, but she does have an establishment that's all set up as a studio. She took a course from the Fabian Souza Academy,
Mhm.
and it was a 1,200-hour course, which is what it's for microblading. It's not a regular tattoo license. They don't do the same type of work. I mean, they use ink and they have a little blade, but other than that, it's microblading. And in my opinion, the license should say for microblading only, but that's only my opinion. She has all her credentials. She's taken all her other bloodborne pathogens and first aid, CPR, all that. Her skin course she just completed. We couldn't find anybody around. She had to go way up to, I think, Westboro or something for her to take that course. So she does have all her credentials
Mhm.
for the establishment. And
Okay,
I
on the application for the tattooing establishment, it
Yeah.
says hours of operation, 8 hours a day. Usually that's a little more definite. Is this 9 to 5? Is this 10 to 6? Is this 12 to 8? And it says 5 days. Are we open Monday through Friday, Tuesday through Saturday? Usually that's all filled in. And we don't have that.
Oh, yeah, it just says 8 hours a day.
And we usually have the autoclave information, and we don't have that.
Right. I went in to see that. She has a sterilizer right now. And I'm double checking on that. Because all my tattoo guys have autoclaves, so anybody that uses them. Mostly everything she uses is also disposable.
Mhm.
But what I need to find out is if the sterilizer is okay or she has to have the autoclave. So she does have one in place, but I need to find out if it's gonna be the autoclave.
Okay, so she has a sterilizer, but no autoclave that you know of.
Yeah, I told her she needed one, but she came in with a sterilizer and then she went out and got another one. I think that it was a autoclave and it's clearly not an autoclave. So she may have to go out and get one of those, but I need to look into that a little further because I'm not sure if it's one and the same. She
Mhm.
has two little tools that she sterilizes and everything else is disposable.
Mhm.
So with microblading, you need, I think, from what I understand about microblading, you need a tattoo license to do microblading, but you're not
Yeah.
doing traditional tattooing like we all think about.
Right,
But in order to do microblading, you have to have the tattoo license, but
Mhm.
doesn't mean you're gonna do tattoos, but you're using ink and a small blade to kind of etch the skin, and the ink gets in there and it gives the appearance of eyebrows.
right.
So that's the difference there. So yeah, I don't know about the sterilizer or autoclave, what you'd need for that and which part of these, if the stuff that is penetrating is disposable, then that obviates the need for an autoclave, like a tattoo parlor, which is reusing needles, which then have to be sterilized. If the blades she's using are disposable, then the other stuff may need just to be
Mhm.
sterilized, like in a salon. So that we'd need to know about that, I think, because if
Yeah, I don't. I
the
think
blades
it's,
are reusable, that's a different thing. But if the blades are disposable, then they come sterile and you use a new one each time. So what reusable equipment and what is the purpose of it, what it's used for, that would determine whether or not it needs to be sterilized or autoclaved.
okay, the
which,
two little tools that I saw, the full tool was sterilized. It wasn't just the blade. The blade didn't come off from what I saw. It didn't, it wasn't taken apart from the tool itself. So I did tell her that she was better off getting an autoclave, I thought. But if she has to, I mean, she will get one. That will be the only thing holding up her shop. She's got a brand new shop on South Main Street here in Fall River. And that would be the only thing she'd have to do, is to get her autoclave.
What's your feeling, gentlemen? Pending in autoclave or restricting until she has an autoclave?
I think the only thing is the autoclave. If she's not using disposable stuff, then it needs to be sterilized. Then you need an autoclave.
Hold her. Samara, can you understand me?
Yes,
You have somebody there with you that can translate?
yes, my friend translates.
Okay, you are gonna need to get the autoclave, because you have a couple of tools that you do not dispose of, you sterilize them.
É como o cara explicou ali, né? Fala.
I translate everything that you guys are saying so far to her, and can you guys just verify what she needs to get, because since she only used the tweezer for the eyebrow, which is the only thing that she uses, and she'll be repeating using in other people, which is not something disposable. So as she is explaining to me that that's the only thing that needs to be sterilized, everything else is something that she buys and then she throws it away, and she is not allowed to use in anyone else. But if you could just specify what she needs so that I could write down and she could buy it.
Okay, doesn't she have a little tool that has a blade on it?
That blade, the little blade comes off because that's where the little needles are, and they're not reusable.
Okay, so they are disposable then.
Yes, they are disposable.
Alright.
They're acho que você tem a coisa que tem uns coisinhas pequenininhas que ela arranca, de jogar fora, ou você usa mesmo em todas as pessoas?
Não, joga fora.
It's disposable.
Okay, see, she told me that it was all one piece.
I would be
It
more
sounds like
comfortable if Lisa went down there and saw this.
Mhm.
It sounds like it's a reusable handle and tweezers.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to have Lisa confirm that before, and
Right.
I'm willing to approve this pending Lisa's visit. But
Okay.
I would like her to go down there and see this to confirm. that these blades are disposable. And that she doesn't save the tool.
Okay, so
All right.
she will not need an autoclave if she only has a pair of tweezers, she doesn't need an autoclave. She can use a sterilizer, I would assume.
Correct.
Okay.
So motion to approve
Disposable.
pending Lisa's confirmation. How about that?
Okay,
Sure.
very good.
Second,
Okay, can we have a roll call?
Great.
Thomas Corey,
Yes?
Michael Coughlin,
yes,
Stephen Gagliardi.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is the tattooing practitioner application for Samara Souza, for Samara Souza Beauty at 274 South Main Street. All the documents look like they're here
They are.
and everything looks like in order.
The skin course was the last item.
Mhm.
We couldn't find a teacher, but she did, so that's all set too. And she took, like I said, the 1,200-hour course in a microblading school. Her map is there. You know, her
1,200 hours?
1,200 hours.
Hours.
That's what it says. Oh, I'm
all the
sorry.
time.
It's 100. I'm sorry. It's 100 hours.
Okay, that sounds
I
more
have
reasonable.
1,200 under my brain from another
Okay, just-
reason.
That's
I
a
don't
lot,
think
that's a
I-
lot of class.
I
Yeah,
don't think I spend that much time in college.
no, that's something else that was a union issue earlier today. Yes, it's 100 hours and she completed that. She has all kinds of certificates here, as you have
Yes.
probably in front of you. Her map, which it's a beautiful salon, I did see it. And she has everything else. The inspection was done and I just had a question on the autoclave. I wasn't sure.
Okay,
But now I'm all set with that. And you'd like her to fill out the hours a little bit differently.
well, just that normally we know it's going to be, someone's working 9 to 5 or again, or
Right.
whatever. It just says 5 days a
Right.
week. And
I'll ask her. I think she has a sign on her door actually, so I'll take a picture of that.
okay, very good.
Okay.
Gentlemen,
All right.
what's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second,
Yes, if we could have a roll call?
Thomas Corey,
Yes.
Michael Coughlin,
yes,
Stephen Gagliardi.
Yes.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, next, we have a proposed vote to amend the regulation of prohibiting smoking in workplaces and public places. We're updating definitions. Copies of the proposed regulation are available from the City of Fall River Department of Health and Human Services. This we were presented with last month, and I was the one who asked that we get a little more time to read through it. I have read through it. It's the kind of stuff that puts you to sleep, but I have read through it. And it looks okay to me. Diane, do you have any comments before we go through this, or?
I
You
don't
wanna
really,
make
it's just, it's pretty straightforward. I just
Yes.
think we're really just getting up to speed with the current times, everything that has changed over the past couple of years or few years. I mean, the first document, it was dated back to 2007. So we just need to incorporate some of the things, some of the changes that had happened in tobacco. And then, so, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, really. Just modern, just bringing everything up to the current date.
Mhm. Gentlemen, questions, comments?
It's pretty straightforward.
Mhm. So can we have a motion to amend the regulations? As printed.
Motion to amend.
second,
Tess, can we have a roll call?
Thomas Corey,
Yes.
Michael Coughlin,
yes,
Stephen Gagliardi.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is a proposed vote to amend the regulation of restricting the sale of tobacco products, updating definitions, incorporating state laws, and determination of a term for permit suspensions in the section titled Proposed Amendment 9, Violations, Section 1B and 1C. Copies of the proposed regulation are available from the City of Fall River Department of Health and Human Services. This is the same thing as we just discussed, right, Diane?
Very similar. The only thing that we're really asking the board is to decide on, with the second and third violation, what we were doing is what was in the original document from 2018 was there was a tolling period of 24 months, and the second and third violation had a suspension of 7 days for the second violation and 30 days for the third violation. So the state is offering you the opportunity now to change with these. So these are state laws or state violations. So you can actually choose a minimum of 1 day up to 7 days for the second violation to suspend the permit, accompanying the fine. And with the third, it would be 7 consecutive business days and up to 30 days with the third violation.
Okay, as long as we have the language up to, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, so you want to leave it as it's written, it would be a choice. Just leave it as it's written, where you would, so if there was a hearing, which there would have to be, like we had last month, there was a hearing, you would get to decide at the meeting if you wanted to suspend this particular establishment, and you'd have the choice, you'd have the option of 1 to 7 days or 7 to 30 days with the third violation. As it was in the past, it was just a set 7 days, 30 days, so I don't know how the board would like to, if they want to leave it how I have written it, is, giving the option, but then at hearings, you would have to make a decision at that time, what the suspension would be, given the allotted amount of time. So I don't know if it would be better for us to just put a set, like it was in the past. It was 7 days with a second violation, it was 30 days with a third. It could be written out that way if that's what the board decides.
I mean, I don't know what kind of extenuating circumstances they would be that would get someone out of the penalty. I mean, if it's just second violation, just like last time, about it. The first time, maybe, whatever. But after you already got fined and you did it again, the second time, I mean, it is what it is. I think we leave it at 7 and 30. That's a deterrent, especially the 30. If if you leave it like 1 to 7, they could, it could just be a day or two, depending on how well you argue. And I know this group is not very lenient when it comes to smoking, but I say leave it at 7 and 30. I mean, what could be the circumstances that would make it 3 days or 5 days or 7 days after you already did it once? And like last time, I mean, he said it, we needed the money. So they made the choice. We're making enough money, we're trying to make up money from what we lost, so we sold it. It wasn't an effective argument. So I mean, that would have been 7 anyway. But if we're going to pick 7 all the time, might as well just leave it at 7. And it is what it is. Do it again, you're gonna get 7. That way you can tell people, you do it one time, second time it's gonna be 7 days. Not, it could be 1 to 7. I say just leave it at 7 and 30. Don't do it again.
I know several years ago, we were having tobacco hearings every month and several, sometimes 2 and 3 in a session. And once the word got out that we would give out those 7-day suspensions, it took about 2 years before the message got out, but eventually, and with the education of the retailers, that problem almost disappeared. And this is last month was the first tobacco hearing we've had in a couple of years. So. Okay,
I mean,
so we want
to pretty harsh, but by the time you get, if you're doing it the third time, I don't feel bad.
I really don't think we can't make a practice of having different penalties for different establishments and be accused of.
And how would we decide?
Mhm.
One's
Right.
3 and one's 5 and one's 7.
So we want to leave it at the 7 and 30?
Yeah,
Okay. Tess, can we have, have a roll call?
You know what, Tommy?
What's the motion?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Could we do them separately? So we don't vote on both of them at the same time? Can we just vote on
I
one?
thought we voted on the first one.
We did? Okay, I'm
I
sorry.
already voted on the first one, yeah.
Okay, all right.
The
Scratch
motion
that.
to accept. Oh. How's this one written?
Item number 10. Sandy, put it in the right language when you do this up. A proposed vote to amend the regulations of restricting the sale of tobacco products, updating definitions, incorporating state laws, and determination of a term for permit suspensions in the section titled Proposed Amendment Number 9, Violations, Section 1B and 1C, which would be the 7 and 30 days.
So moved, as Tom said it.
Second.
Can we have a roll call, Tess?
Thomas Corey,
Yes.
Michael Coughlin,
Yes.
Stephen Gagliardi.
Yes.
I assume we'll have to go down to City Hall to sign the final document in the next 10 days or so.
Yes, and to make it effective, what would the date to go into effect be as written on the document?
6/16, 7/16. How about August 1st? That would give like 45 days notice to everyone. Is that reasonable?
Sounds reasonable.
Sure.
Do we need a motion on that?
Let's do it to cover our bases.
Okay. Gentlemen, who wants to make a motion?
I move that these changes be effective on August 1st.
Second.
We have a roll call on that?
Thomas Corey,
Yes.
Michael Coughlin,
Yes.
Stephen Gagliardi.
Yes.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, now the director's report. Tess, what do you have for us today?
So really, again, just kind of wanted to provide the COVID
Mhm.
numbers. So as of the most recent data, 66.6% of the community is fully vaccinated, 74.8% have received a first dose, and 47.7% of the community has received a booster dose. That booster dose number has stayed the same, but I did reach out to the state about that because I wasn't seeing an increase, and it was explained to me that, you know, the number of eligible folks for boosters continues to increase, and that's why that number hasn't
Percentage.
really made a significant jump. So just as a reference point there. And our daily average incident rate is 22.5 per 100,000. So we are seeing a decrease in the case counts that are, you know, lab reported at this point in time. And we are planning for the under 5 vaccines. So provided those are approved over the next several days, then local vendors have had the opportunity to do pre-orders, and those vaccines would arrive, again, provided that the FDA and the CDC make those final recommendations. Those vaccines could begin to be administered as early as Tuesday of next week. So you know, we're coordinating with health centers and have some clinics lined up for those populations if and when that gets approved. So we're excited about that and hopeful that both of those vaccines become options for children under 5. So that's really a general COVID update. we received the Mass in Motion grant. That had been, we had to reapply for that grant this cycle. It's changing a bit, and we did receive that grant. So we haven't officially signed the contracts, but it looks like about 110,000 for that grant will be, given to Fall River, with a focus again on healthy eating, active living. The application that we submitted was kind of focused on improving bike and ped safety and access throughout the community. So we're looking forward to that, and looking forward to being able to bring on more folks under that grant. Because as it stands right now, it's a limited grant, and we only have one employee for that position. So we're excited about that. And we are also, beginning to have conversations about the opioid settlement funds that that the city will be receiving. Those funds will receive kind of a lump sum this year, and then there will be some money that will be given to us every July for the next 18 years. Mike, I know you have involvement in that, so if you have anything to add or like to share about those funds.
It's a lot of money. If you guys haven't looked into it, it's $4 million over the course of the 18 years, with a hefty down payment of almost $500,000 in the first year. There's a strong feeling that we don't want this money to go the way the tobacco settlements of 20 years ago went, which just ended up being spent on general budget, general support for other government operations. This money is going to be targeted for substance addiction activities, treatment, prevention, supporting people in recovery. And they've identified several priorities that communities can focus on in using the funds. So with this much money, I think the city needs to give careful thought as to how it should be given out, and invite the stakeholders in the community to talk to the city about how it should be spent. Personally, I think we should even get proposals from the community-based organizations as to what they will do with any share of the money that they get. This could be a very involved process. If Tess ends up as the lead person for the city in doing it, the board might be in a position to support her in overseeing it.
How would people go about, if they had some kind of program or idea of getting some of that money for it? Are there guidelines for this kind of thing set up when you get the money, or?
Not so. The state doesn't provide guidance on kind of the structure of who will be involved in disseminating the funds. The state does provide outlines as to specific kind of buckets that the funds can be used for, but doesn't really give any set guidance on that. I have had conversations with the administration about engaging with community members and developing a plan. So I think there'll be more to come on that as we kind of have a sense of how this should be structured. There had been conversations about potentially utilizing a structure that's similar to the ARPA funds, where there may be a panel of decision makers, and people can again put forward suggestions and ideas as to where the funds could be utilized. But the hope is, to Mike's point, we really have a very thoughtful approach, and look several years in advance to make sure we're utilizing the funds in a way that will have a meaningful impact. And certainly, if board members are interested, I can convey that to the mayor in terms of any involvement in some type of a panel or, throughout the process. I'll certainly keep you informed, but if there's any additional involvement that you'd like to have, I can convey that to the mayor.
Okay. Was there anything for citizens input today?
We did not have any citizens input.
Next time, you need to confirm the date for the next meeting. As I recall, when we were here last month, we picked July 14th. Is that still good with everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
It's potentially the last time we can do this on Zoom.
yep. We'll have to request the council chambers after this.
I'm not
Oh.
hearing anything about it being extended again, unfortunately.
Oh, well. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Tess, can we have a roll call?
Thomas Corey,
Yes.
Michael Coughlin,
Yes.
Stephen Gagliardi.
yes.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Tess.
Thank you.
Have a lovely weekend.
You too.
Take care.